Alright, what's up everyone? This is Isomer SC bringing you a StarCraft cast for the UChicago CSL team. This is a game played between vGdave of the team UIUC and UrsadonLighT, aka Victor from the UChicago team. And on this call with us in this third match in the best of 5, we have Victor. So everyone say hi to Victor. And
Hi
Victor, do you
guys.
have any thoughts about this match?
This match was a TVZ after the Queen patch. It was pretty recently after. So I was definitely not very confident in TVZ. Um, that's all I have to say. VG Dave, I was familiar with him in the past. He's definitely a high master Zerg. He was quite good. But I do know that he started playing WoW for a while, so a little bit of confidence there.
Oh, okay, okay. So also on the call with us, who's going to take this opportunity in the beginning of the game to talk about the team is the team coordinator and manager, Marley. So Marley, take it away, talk about
Yo,
the team.
sup? So we at the University of Chicago pride our. Well, hi guys, I'm Marley. Guess I'm gonna be a third year. Shit, Victor, we are old.
We
Um,
are old.
yeah, Jesus Christ. So University of Chicago tends to pride itself on being super nerdy in random, different, quirky, interesting ways. And we've had this club team. The Management of Investment in Colonies and Resources Organization, or MICRO for short. And that was like kind of an inside joke amongst people. But we've been competing in the CSL since its beginnings. And last year was like the first real year that we had, I guess, we could call them good results, right, Victor? Maybe like
Well,
okay, reasonable.
considering the year before this, we had about two people in the club. Yes, these would be pretty good results.
Yeah, both like numerically and just like result wise, like we went 16-2, I think, over the year, and we ended up finishing in the round of 32, which I think we were all pretty happy with, and kind of surprised we got there. But hopefully, we'll be able to make things happen, maybe a little bit more. If not, it's fine because we also like enjoy having fun with the game. So we'll do like random mono battles. We took a trip to a regional land and a bunch of tournaments in the Chicago area, one of which got terribly blacklisted, but it's okay. It's a
Yeah.
thought that counts, right? And we also enjoy like working with other people and like making, working on their game and maybe even occasionally playing Brood War or Warcraft 3. Maybe not any Warcraft 3, but that's just my personal preference. So yeah, we like, we enjoy having the results, but I think we also try to keep focus of the fact that um, what's really important is that we're all having fun and that people are coming out and enjoying the club in of itself. And I think we've done a pretty good job of like getting more people, starting to come to the club and start, having fun with it. So yeah, I guess that's like my little spiel on the club. If you're at another school, you're like worried about trying to start an esports club or something like that, you should just go for it because you never know who's going to be around.
You'd be very surprised about the
Yeah,
interest. Very.
yeah, definitely. Uh, especially when you look at like last year compared to this year, both like as I said, for the CSL, both like just like who was showing up to like meetings and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, so far in this match we have Victor going for a standard reactor Hellion expand. And how do you think that this will fare against the gasless expand coming out of UG Dave, Victor?
I definitely feel that this was more of a disadvantage to me. You can tell that this is a little bit dated, that this was after the Queen patch, because really you don't really see reactor Hellion expands anymore. You usually see 16 CC into double gas and two Hellions after. That's definitely my style now. I do not do reactor Hellion expand anymore. It feels like you get put a little bit behind, and you really can't push in when you have queens with that ridiculous range.
Yeah, definitely. So, what about this map, Metropolis? What do you think about TVZ on this map?
Um, I think it favors Terran if you play a more defensive turtley styles because of the ease of the bases. And after Zerg gets their half, it's very difficult for them to take any more because they're either forced to take the center ones or the islands, both of which aren't very great for them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. In the later game, all of these expansions become pretty hard to take, especially with mutas or drops out. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So what's your plan right now? You're going for 2 medevacs and stim. So are you going for some kind of stim drop timing or?
Yeah, this is the double medevac, marine marine stim timing. This is a slightly different variation where I cut the third reactor for the barracks, and I get definitely a lot faster starport. So I hit with no combat shields, but it's a lot faster. Do a little bit of drop play, and then take my third. I just prefer that style at the time.
Yeah.
I
So
feel like a lot of I'm sorry, but I feel like a lot of my style in PvZ is very drop based because honestly, my main engage micro is quite poor, and I trade usually not great at all versus Baneling or Infestors. So I usually go for a lot of drops.
yeah, I see. And this is a. Do you think this is a pretty good timing right now? You're heading in, and all he's got is links.
Yeah, definitely. He's actually spots it, unfortunately for me. It's just in the range of that Overlord.
Yeah.
My positioning isn't fantastic, but
Yeah. So the
I do
links.
get a
Yeah. So the links have pretty much surrounded everything, and you managed to pick them up into the 2 medevacs. You do get a few link kills, but he's got plenty left over, so you have to retreat. So do you
indeed.
feel? I mean, you weren't trying to like kill much with that, were
It's
you? It was mostly just a pressure, or
yeah, it's very rare that you'll be able to kill a Zerg with that. It's just a little bit of harass, and it helps you scout out what the Zerg does by seeing what units they have.
yeah. So he's ready for you now. He's got his links parked at that entry point that you used last time. But you will pick up 1 and maybe 2 overlords. Can be close. He does manage to escape, but you also picked off the morphing overseer, which I remember when we saw that live, we were like pretty souped about that move.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to notice that more phase.
Yeah, so Marley, why don't you go ahead and while there's a bit more passivity, what is it like to attend a live match, like so that people get an idea?
It's pretty cool. Like you get to, you know what I mean. Like it's kind of like the same kind of difference where, first time you ever go to like a tournament or something like that. That's not just like you versus the computer, you versus someone online. Like, you first go there and you see the keyboard and you see the person you're competing against. So, maybe you can't BM nearly as hard as you might like to. But it's just like, kind of rush, like all this, like, I feel like we're very, the way we perceive things depends on how much we can look at them. And so when you take something from off the internet and put it into reality, we tend to take it like slightly more seriously as something that's like, actually real and it's something that's actually going on as we're talking. So it's like very much the same experience. When we see a great game online, it's like awesome. But like when you can see the player actually playing it and you can see him come into the room after he's like pulled off a ridiculous, you know, holding off of like Ling Yuta, Baneling, for example. It's just it's almost like it's comparable to like when you're at like a sports game, a sporting event or something like that. And so it's one of those events that like you really as if you're just an esports fan, you just need to check it out. You need to go to like even if you're not playing in a tournament, you should go and like find one that's happening in your area, and just check it out because like small things like that can just make it more real not just for you, but for like people around you too. Like as opposed to being like, oh, I'm just going to stay in all day and play StarCraft. You could be like, oh, I'm going to this tournament at this place and meeting up with friends, and then we're going to do a bunch of other things. It just seems like a more social event, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
also,
So
I just want to take this opportunity to say mules are imbalanced, and that is all. As soon as like that third CC lands, I sense a lot of muling coming.
Oh, I have no doubt there's going to be a lot of milling. So, what do you think about this third timing, Victor? Do you feel like you could have taken it faster, or you just delayed it because of the mutas, or?
Um, I think it was a decent timing. A little bit late on current standards. I think it was mostly because I didn't get those rocks down in time. But here comes a push for me. I think the timing is all right with even upgrades,
Yeah.
3 tanks, medevacs.
So here he comes, he's swinging around the top with the mutas. He manages to get a tank, but he loses a couple mutalisks in the process. And his Ling Baneling is over here in the west, so Victor has identified that with a scan. He's cleaning up the creep. This is a bit scary for Victor. The muta's up north, and the Ling Baneling can just swing in, so we really need to be watching that Ling Baneling. Here it comes from the west. Oh, but Victor has unsieged. He is in this choke. The Banelings are rolling in, but how are the trades going to be? Let's see. Oh, man. That is a lot of Marines evaporating. But you know
Oh
what?
man.
I
Jeez.
think you can tell there what I was talking about my micro versus banelings. My splits are not quite up there, to say the least.
Well, I mean, he only has 4 Banelings and like 12 Mutas or so right now, so it's not the worst situation.
Also, mules are just being called down, so he'll be okay.
Yeah, at this time, I'm actually doing quite well economically. I'm pretty even on harvesters, and he has not saturated his fourth while I'm getting my third
Yeah.
up and running.
Oh, and he loses
So,
so many Mutas. Their heads just flying all over the place. That was a good pickup for
yeah,
you right there.
definitely. He wasn't paying attention. I got a little lucky there.
So, Victor, just like, oh, well, I guess this engagement's about to come, but like, quick question about like, because you came in here with the patch and everyone was like, oh shit, Queens can now like hit with like 6 range. But I don't know how much like pre-patch practice you actually got while it was still like in the beta. But how did you think about like trying to adapt your play? Maybe you can answer as soon as like this engagement is over, but yeah. Like, how did you think about adapting your strategy so that you wouldn't have to worry about the fact that like Queens are in balance now?
Quite honestly, at this point, I didn't have very much time to adapt, and because of how school went, I did not have that much practice going into this match. Um, I mean, even at this point, you can see that a lot of Terrans are still struggling and complaining about DBZ. So I really don't have much to say, except that this push is incredibly dumb for me. I'm pushing out with way too many tanks for the Marine
Oh
ratio
man.
because of my double drop in the top. This absolutely awful.
Oh, so the Banelings roll in and hit the tanks, but so many Banelings were morphing that actually the Marines were able to do a significant amount of damage before the Banelings were able to come in. But the double drop is here, and vGdave is pulling back his entire army. The double drop runs down the ramp, and you're going to be able to take out this fort for sure.
It's going to be close,
That's true.
and
Oh, he gives it a
and
transfuse. Another
I
transfuse.
yeah,
Oh, ho, ho.
but I barely get it with that last Marine. It was really unfortunate that I lost so many
Yeah.
tanks that main engage, but I was lucky enough to pick off 2 of his bases. Um, so I'm still doing okay, but you can tell that he's pulling ahead in food, even though his harvester count is very, very low, and my harvester count is getting a little bit too high. Um, you definitely don't want to get much over 70. 80 is already a bit too much for Terran, especially with mules.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I remember that play when you got the fourth. That was definitely one of those plays where we were all like on the edge of our seats, and then like, oh, it went down, and we were all super excited.
Yeah. And one of the problems I felt for vGdave was he just didn't have Overlord spread at all on the top side of the map, so he couldn't see any
Yeah,
of that coming.
definitely. I was very lucky that he has no drop vision at the top, and that path is absolutely amazing for medevacs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's a risky move to sometimes to drop against mutas, but like it also comes with the precaution. Like if he sends his mutas all the way back to deal with the drop, then they're not attacking you, so that's good too.
Right.
Yeah, the other thing
You
is
need
like you
uh,
kind let Victor take it.
I'm sorry. You need to keep track of where the mutas are. going to this match, I told my friend that if if vGdave was going Fester, I was feeling pretty confident. But if he was gonna go Muta, I was giving myself like a 10% chance to win because at the time my PvP was so drop based, and it's a lot more difficult versus Muta because Muta makes you keep track of where this Muta ball is.
Alright, and we do have a drop coming into the 5th base of vGdave, and that's definitely going to fall. There's no response to that. The Mutas are kind of looking for harassment. They managed to pick off a tank and a couple of turrets so far.
Yeah, at this point I'm curling a bit because I didn't feel confident of my unit composition and army size.
Yeah, upgrade-wise, it's looking pretty even. Like, you're going for level 3 weapons, and he's going for 3-3, so it seems pretty even to me.
Yeah,
Well,
unfortunately, I
yeah.
did forget the 3 armor.
And of course, when turn is even with you in upgrades, it's never a good sign as a Zerg player.
Yeah, I mean, 3-3 Marines, especially against mutas, are just ridiculously good. So here comes the engagement. Lings engaging first. The Banelings are lagging behind. Oh, man, there's some big hits. But all the Banelings are dead, and there's about 25 Marines left. Oh, and he's going to lose a lot of mutas if he chooses to engage this. Oh, man. He still has 24 mutas, but I think he must have lost, like, 10 in that right there.
Yeah,
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 that was definitely a super efficient trade. And also, like, the fact that you had a bit of a bank stored up there, so like you're gonna have like another 20 Marines popping out while he's gonna be still stuck with this like kind of group of mutilators.
Yeah. So what do you think of the mutas going for the 4th Victor? Because I feel like your main, he could just sort of sit on your barracks for a while, right?
yeah. But I think he was more concerned about trying to get some SCV kills, even though he probably could have triple killed me at this point if he parked over my reactors on my barracks.
Yeah, I mean, that
Um,
it's kind of a tough call, right?
yeah, definitely.
Oh, but he's continued his muta production, and he's making the corruptors now, but he has so many mutas right now.
At this point, I remember I was very confused because I saw the 11 more mutas join up at that last battle. And I was quite confused why he was going so muta heavy. I was considering that he may have been doing some sort of full spire and like very, very mass muta. So at this point, you can see that I'm going to be sending away my Vikings because I was expecting him not to go Broodlord at this point because I just saw such a ridiculous mass of mutas
Yeah.
and him producing more and more.
And here the mutas are going for those add-ons, but it looks like more of a harass instead of a big attack. And
Yeah, definitely.
the Marines are sort of spread out, so these mutas are going to end up doing a bit of damage.
He was able to take out a lot of reactors, which is painful production
Yeah.
because they do take so long to build.
And so you're very disciplined about not stimming. Like a lot of Terrans just stim their entire... But you didn't even stim when your Marines were engaging. Was that an intentional thing, or...
Yeah, you definitely don't want to stem too many because of how fast mutas are. And now my Vikings are
Yeah.
trying to take out this top base up here.
Yeah, and it looks like the Vikings are going to get it. Ironically enough, you don't really see a Viking pick out a base very often.
But they are definitely dead. And I was
Yeah.
unaware of his brood lords at this point because that mutaball was still so big at this point.
Yeah. So luckily for you, he's only got 4 Broodlords, and he's got 6 Corruptors, but he's maxed right now, so he needs to do some trading if he wants to make more Broodlords. And
His army composition is really definitely not optimal. He has 0 infestors, which
yeah.
are definitely the most important part of a broodlord army.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely agree about that. He has a ton of Banelings right now. He's got like 30 something Banelings, so
Unfortunately for him, that means his army retention is going to be very low
that is true.
after any engage.
And he's actually bold enough to build the Broodlords on the very edge of the creep. Oh, and oh, you just scanned his army like, and you've already moved to the Zelnaga Tower. So it looks like we're
Yeah, at
entering a
this
base trade situation here.
right at this point, that was actually the first point that I saw the broodlords, and I was very confused again because I flanked this huge mutavault. So I just decided to go for a base race and try to take out whatever I can. I knew he was coming back, so I started to, add his big choke here and using the Thor's up here.
Yeah, so here comes the Ling Baneling. The Ling's coming first, which is nice. Do the tanks get off the shots on the Banelings? Oh, man. It looks like the Banelings will hit the Thor, and the Mutas are just going to get wrecked. So that was definitely the best engagement of the game for you.
A lucky one, based on pure decision, a poor decision on his side, actually.
Yeah, like if he should have just been spamming onto your Marines with the Banelings or something.
Although to be fair,
Right.
that wasn't fully like luck, right? Like you set that up really well
He
with the
did.
tanks and the Thors like right by the choke, and then like all your Marines are just chilling behind, like what's up, what's up.
I think it was a poor choice for the time he chose to engage them. So now I'm just using these submarines to try to take out as much tactic in his main as possible. I'm hoping that he won't be able to get a good production afterwards. While I basically throw away these bases and all these SCVs.
Oh, man, you're going to lose a lot of SCVs. But,
Although this actually worked out, you think, right? Because at this point, I think we're saturated on SCVs.
yeah, I mean,
My only mining base is really this top
yeah.
at the 12 o'clock.
And
And
it
I'm
doesn't look like he scouted that at all, which is an oversight, definitely. Oh, man, and he's
I'm
losing
sure
his
that's
spawning pool
the case.
again. So you've got a decent setup here, actually. Like, you've got enough Vikings. All he has is air units right now, so your Marines are actually going to be able to wreck all of his mutas. Meanwhile, your Marines are charging into his very last mining base. He doesn't even have tech right now. He's working on a Spire, and that's it. Oh, man.
Once again, you can really tell that this is where his army composition choice comes back to hurt him because he had no interceptors, which means that his Marines could walk straight up there and really not be scared of anything in that fight.
Yeah, definitely.
His Marines are never scared of anything.
So at this point,
Unfortunately for them,
he's got 4,000 money and 3,000 gas because he just had no tech for so long and he still had mining. So now he's trying to build hatcheries everywhere and all this stuff, but he just can't spend his money on anything.
yeah, it's quite unfortunate to have such a big pick and be unable to build anything. Must be very frustrating.
So at this point, Marley, what would you say the reaction in the CSL spectating room was?
Well, at this point, I think we were all like, fairly convinced this is going to be one. I mean, Brood Lords are scary, but Ball of Marines is even scarier. I think a lot of like the big moment of like climax was like when he decided to go for the base trade situation. No one had any clue how that was going to work out. So like he had scouted the orbital at the 12 o'clock position. The game might have been very different because he may not have been able to afford all that production, and then maybe we would have had like a much more like one army versus one army situation.
Yeah.
But I don't know, after seeing engagement at the choke, we were all kind of like, ah, yeah, but wait, Broodlords. Um, but once it became clear that his attack was going to be left alone and he was not going to find the 12 o'clock expansion, I think we all pretty much knew that Victor was going to do well because, like, his macro is sick.
Yeah.
And, oh, Victor, what is this? Haha, got a mule.
Hey, he sent a
Don't worry
mule to
about
the...
that.
Oh, wait, I remember that. Yeah, no, wait, I totally remember that. We were unsure if that was legit or if that was like a gentle question by Victor about why his opponent was still in the game.
I was a little bit confused at the time. All I could assume is that I was hoping to rebuild, but he really didn't have the time.
And I
So
think,
Marine, great unit or greatest unit?
yeah, I
I
want to
think the
say that
Marines were
3-2 Marines are definitely imbalanced, right?
Oh, look at that
they're
banner.
a lot more impressive with that free armor that I completely
Oh,
missed out on, which is a little bit embarrassing.
look at just look at that manner. Don't you feel bad for Manor muling him now? He told you well played. Wish to
I
the
I, I
tournament.
felt I felt bad the second I landed them because it wasn't meant to be TM. I actually found it funny that my mules were finding all his bases, and then I realized afterwards that it was a little bit mean, but I knew him in the past for this match,
Uh,
so
yeah, no,
I
it's
don't feel
true.
too awful.
For any viewers out there, Victor's current Skype icon is four furry pandas. So I don't think anyone with that kind of like Skype icon could truly be bad mannered.
That's
Uh,
quite
All right, awesome. Well, this has been the final match of our CSL. What was this round of 16?
this was the round of, I think it was a round of 64 overall. So it was a round of 16 for the Central Region.
Yeah, so UChicago's in the
Yeah,
Central Region, and so then we ended up making it to top 32 in teams overall, right?
yeah, we ended up losing to UT Austin. Although, I mean, Victor will disagree with me here, but I think we probably could have had a better chance against UT Austin, except for the chance that except for the fact that they wanted to play during our like midterms and literally like CSL forced our hand there. They're just like you need to play these games by this point,
yeah.
um,
I remember
and
that
so we
match.
didn't. Yeah, we
Was
didn't get. Yeah, we didn't get.
absolute worst timing for us. I hadn't played for a full week, and it was an awful day for me. I was really busy. I was really stressed that day, and I ended up doing a cheese, and I did a proxy 2x or a proxy 2x Marauder, and I did decent damage against Hello Kitty, but I ended up losing the macro game because I was just like not in good shape, and I was floating so much money that game.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was a difficult set. I mean, not to take anything away from UT Austin, they were a fantastic team and they played really well.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely.
yeah, we actually ended up beating them during the regular season, and so I thought maybe we could do better than just getting 3-0'd, which we. But I guess that's the nature of the CSL season. You got to be able to balance like the academic life and the esports as well. But I think it was a fun season. Well, don't you guys, Rob, Victor, you guys were both there, right?
Yeah,
It was definitely a great season, a lot of fun.
yeah,
Yeah. So like I don't know, I was just gonna give a general plug for the CSL. You guys like even if your school maybe doesn't have the number of people required or things like that, the CSL is always looking for help with either running the league or other teams are always looking for like practice partners and things like that. So feel free to always get involved with the team, even if it seems like a little bit difficult to like start a StarCraft RSO, try to find people who um who like it at your school or along those lines. So definitely different ways of getting involved.
yeah, totally. And do you guys have any last words you want to say before we sign out of this awesome game?
Well, I just want to thanks Rob for doing all the awesome casting for our games and now, and thanks to all of the players and people who've come out to like support the Chicago StarCraft team, but also just like the CSL in general, because I think like college sports, college esports is definitely like a newer and huger part of the market, and it's not doable without like a base of people who care about it. So yeah. And hashtag cheesy end notes. I'm done.
All right,
Yeah,
Victor.
definitely support us this next season. Hopefully we'll improve. I know our team improved a lot actually from the start of the season. We were not that great, but we still made it decently far, no matter what reasons that would be. But yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, so this has been Isomer SC, Rob casting this UChicago CSL match, and UChicago won with this game, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and look at our YouTube channel in the future for even more CSL action. All right, guys, this is Isomer signing out.